Welcome. My name is Barbara Spaulding, and I wrote a book called The Halloween That Would Not Be Forgotten. In this book, it teaches children how to be safe on Halloween night. I'd like to read it to you now. Halloween night can be lots of fun when children follow these rules of thumb. Do not go trick-or-treating all alone. Stay on the sidewalk and never roam. Stay in a neighborhood everyone knows and wear bright colors or tape that glows. Let parents check your candy before you eat, or you may get a trick instead of a treat. Follow all these simple rules and you won't be haunted by ghosts and ghouls. Jesse was counting the days until Halloween. It was his favorite day besides Christmas and his birthday. This year, he was even more excited because he was going to trick-or-treat with friends instead of his parents. This made him feel very grown up. Jesse already had his costume. He was going to be a glow-in-the-dark skeleton. The costume was hanging in his closet, and sometimes, at night, he could see it glowing from under the door. He would cover his head with his blanket and whisper to himself that he was a big kid now who should not be afraid of such things. Halloween night had arrived, and Jesse could barely stand to wait another minute for his friends. He paced the room while his parents handed out candy to children ringing the doorbell and singing trick or treat. Jesse's friends finally showed up, masked as a magician, a witch, and a mummy. They were so excited and eager to get started. However, before they were allowed to leave, Jesse's parents warned them to follow the safety rules while trick-or-treating. They all promised, and off they went. It was a dark Halloween night, much darker than anyone had ever remembered. The moon was full, but did not give off much light. Instead, it had an eerie glow and almost seemed to chuckle as if it knew tonight would be the Halloween that would not be forgotten. The skeleton, magician, witch, and mummy set out on their journey. At each house, they would ring the doorbell and exclaim, "Trick or treat," and their bags would be filled with candy. Jesse grew impatient and wanted his friends to hurry. It had been slow going because something bizarre would happen at each stop. At the first house, the magician dropped his deck of cards and had to stop and pick them up. Jesse wished he could make the magician disappear. At the next house, the witch's tall hat blew away, and the group had to chase it down. Jesse wished the witch would fly away on her broom. Still, at another house, someone stepped on the mummy's trailing cloth, and his costume unraveled. That was the last straw. While the witch and the magician helped rewrap the mummy, Jesse went off on his own. He ran off ahead until he was all alone. Suddenly, he could feel the wind begin to stir. He saw a black cat cross his path. An owl questioned him, and he heard the faint sound of footsteps coming toward him. He began to shiver with fright, and he wished he had his blanket to cover his head. Instead, he slowly turned around to face his fear. A light so bright it made Jesse shield his eyes. A ghostly voice spoke. It said, "Halloween night can be lots of fun when children follow these rules of thumb. Do not go trick-or-treating all alone. Stay on the sidewalk and never roam. Stay in a neighborhood everyone knows and wear bright colors or tape that glows. Let parents check your candy before you eat, or you may get a trick instead of a treat. Follow all these simple rules, and you won't be haunted by ghosts or ghouls." With that, the light dimmed. Jesse squinted, rubbed his eyes, and tried to see who had spoken. No one was there. He shrugged his shoulders and figured it must have been a joke, someone with a flashlight trying to scare him. So in his glowing skeleton suit, he continued on his way alone. He found himself in an unfamiliar neighborhood. The paved street he had traveled had become dirt, and a large house loomed at the end of the path. The creepy mansion looked empty except for a light in one upstairs window. He began to walk toward it when the wind began to stir. He saw the black cat cross his path, and an owl questioned him. This time, louder footsteps could be heard walking down the road behind him. Jesse, thinking it was another joker, turned and to his horror saw two piercing, shiny eyes and heard a specter's booming voice recite, "Halloween night can be lots of fun when children follow these rules of thumb. Do not go trick-or-treating all alone. Stay on the sidewalk and never roam. Stay in a neighborhood everyone knows and wear bright colors or tape that glows. Let parents check your candy before you eat, or you may get a trick instead of a treat. Follow all these simple rules, and you won't be haunted by ghosts and ghouls." Jesse ran from the mansion as fast as he could, all the while wondering how the trick had been played. How could anyone dangle two eyes in the sky? There were no strings. How was it done? He finally stopped to rest and found that he had run into a graveyard. It was darker now and very late, the glow from his costume gone, and in his haste to start trick-or-treating, he had forgotten reflective tape. Lost and fighting off tears, Jesse decided to cheer himself up with a treat from his bag. He sat against the headstone in the old cemetery and dumped his loot in his lap. While shuffling through his candy, the wind began to stir. A black cat jumped from tomb to tomb, and an owl questioned him again. A thunderous stampede of footsteps shook the ground. Jesse, frozen with fear, watched as a giant yellow phantom with piercing, shiny eyes rose like smoke from the grave beneath. Ooze dripping from its mouth, and with clenched, sharp teeth, he roared in his ghoulish voice, "Halloween night can be lots of fun when children follow these rules of thumb. Do not go trick-or-treating all alone. Stay on the sidewalk and never roam. Stay in a neighborhood everyone knows and wear bright colors or tape that glows. Let parents check your candy before you eat, or you may get a trick instead of a treat. Follow all these simple rules, and you won't be haunted by ghosts or ghouls. You have been warned and now must pay the price for not following the rules. The punishment won't be nice." The slimy spirit cackled hideously, then opened his mouth up wide. His sharp teeth glistened in the odd light of the moon. Jesse wished he had listened to his parents' advice to follow the safety rules while trick-or-treating on Halloween night. He would not be in such a mess if he had. Then Jesse came up with an idea. He reasoned that if it might hurt him to eat candy unchecked by his parents, then maybe it would hurt this ghost and send it back to the grave. He quickly tossed all of his candy into the phantom's drooling jowls, closed his eyes, and said, "Halloween night can be lots of fun, and I will follow the rules from now on. I will not go trick-or-treating all alone. I will stay on the sidewalk and never roam. I will stay in my own neighborhood and wear bright colors or tape as I should. My parents will check my candy before I eat, and I hope this phantom is tricked so I'm not the treat." There was a large clap of thunder, and the sound of fireworks skyrocketed over Jesse's head. When he got up the courage to open his eyes, he found that he had been transported back into his own neighborhood. He ran home and hugged his parents. Jesse explained to them that he had learned a valuable lesson this Halloween night. Rules are made to protect us and keep us from harm, and he will follow the safety rules for Halloween from now on. If you want to do grown-up things on your own, you must think like a grown-up when you're alone. Jesse's parents tucked him into bed and hung up his glow-in-the-dark skeleton costume in the closet. Jesse slept without covering his head with his blanket, and the moon chuckled. I hope this story will help you to be safe on Halloween night. And while you're out trick-or-treating, I hope that you stop by the Bellevue Avenue Haunted House. It's our 20th anniversary. We are open one night only on Halloween from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We hope to scare you there. Thank you.